Welcome back to another CSEC video. We are looking at the May-June Paper 2, 2024 Social Studies paper. We are specifically looking at the question on tourism. So we're going to go straight into the video. And the question states, tourism and its impact on the physical environment. Write an essay on the topic above in which you define the term heritage tourism, examine 3 ways tourism can harm the physical land, sea, air environment of your country, suggest 3 actions the government in your country may take to reduce the harm caused to the environment by the tourism industry, and explain why each action is likely to be successful. So we're going to start our question. Now, I want you to get your book and your pen or your pencil because you will also be writing this tourism essay alongside me. All right. So the first thing I want you to do is to define the term heritage tourism. And I'm going to pause the video so that you can get a chance to write your answer. Define the term heritage tourism. So in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So you should be finished with your answer. So let's go. Please remember that when you're answering your questions, they should be done in complete sentences. Now, if your answer is heritage tourism is traveling to a place, so when you travel to a place to enjoy and learn about its natural, historical, and cultural legacy. And you're also exploring and appreciating the place's distinctive features, such as the customs, the language of the people, the friendliness of the people, the landmarks, etc. All of that is considered a part of heritage tourism. So if your answer is near that or is exactly the same as mine, you are definitely correct. Our next question is, and I'm going to give you some time to answer this question. Examine 3 ways tourism can harm the physical land, sea, air environment of your country. And we're going to pause the video to give you some time to answer this question. So you're writing 3 ways in which tourism can harm the physical environment of your country. 5, let's count down. 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, guys. So you should have your answers ready. Excuse me. Now, you are writing the 3 ways tourism can harm the physical environment of your country. Now, in your answer for this question, you should include how can tourism harm the land, which is the physical environment, sea and air, right? So those are the elements that you're going to factor into your answer. So let's see our answer and see if you have the same thing. All right, so my 3 ways in which tourism can harm the physical environment of my country are pollution, degradation and destruction of habitats, overconsumption of natural resources. So if you notice, I have given you my 3 ways. Now I'm going to write a short explanation of what do I mean by these ways. Now, the first one that I am going to look at is pollution. Now, I am going to explain how pollution affects the physical environment. So we know that pollution is the introduction of harmful substances into the atmosphere. Now, The solid waste, we know that tourism industry, they generate a lot of solid waste. When we look at the different hotels, um, parks, restaurants, bars that are a part of the tourism industry, we know that a lot of waste is generated. Now, statistics has shown that an estimated 8 million tons of plastic waste are discarded by the tourism industry annually. When we talk about plastic waste, we are looking at plastic bottles, cups, glasses, metal, right? The tourism industry, as we said before, creates a lot of especially food waste. Now, plastic waste and other non-biodegradable materials, if they are not disposed of properly by the tourism industry, what do you think can happen to these materials? They will definitely end up in oceans. And we know once they end up in the ocean, this can cause significant damage to marine life and also the ecosystems. Now, we have a lot of tourism industries, hotels, restaurants, where they do not have proper waste management in place, right? So what happen is that you will see them disposing their waste, their garbage on an empty plot of land. Now that result in landfill. So you'll see the garbage filling over, going over and over. They keep on disposing garbage there. And we know, guys, this affects the environment significantly. Not only the environment, but it can also cause health problems for citizens. Guys, listen, when we have um tourism industry, hotels, for example, constantly throwing solid waste on lands or on empty plot of lands, they dispose their garbages there. This can lead to loss of biodiversity. We know that habitats are sometimes destroyed, so animals that tend to use the land as their home, they are now destroyed because it is now overflowing with garbage. And the ecosystems are also disrupted. So if you had pollution as one of the ways that the tourism industry can harm the environment, you are definitely correct. We may not explain it the same way, but as long as you can explain your answer, what do you mean by pollution as being one of the factors that can cause harm to the environment, your answer would be definitely correct. So, guys, I hope you are getting your answers correct. And my final way in which the tourism industry harms the environment is tourism facilities such as hotels. Oh, so it's overconsumption of natural resources. What do I mean by this? Tourism facilities such as hotels and golf courses can consume large amounts of water, sustaining local water resources and potentially leading to water scarcity at the hotels and in communities. Another way that the tourism industry overuse natural resources is that the industry is a significant consumer of energy, which can contribute to greenhouse gas emissions and climate change. For example, hotels and resorts consume large amounts of electricity for power and appliances, lighting, and other amenities. So if you have ever been to a hotel, you'll see all the, energy that is needed to for persons to enjoy their stay at a hotel, right? Also, museums, theme parks, and other attractions consume energy for lighting and sound systems. Guys, that's a lot of energy being used in the tourism industry, which results in overconsumption of energy of natural resources such as energy. All right. Now, our next question is suggest 3 actions the government in your country may take to reduce the harm caused to the environment by the tourism industry. Explain why each action is likely to be successful. And I'm going to give you your time to answer this question. So while you're answering the 3 actions the government in your country may take to reduce the harm caused to the environment by the tourism industry. So while you have your book and your pen or your pencil ready, the first thing I want you to do is to list your 3 actions. What can the government do to reduce all the harm that we have listed in the question above that are caused by the environment, by the tourism industry? So let's list your 3 actions. All right, so I'm going to pause the video so you can get a chance to list. The only thing you're doing is listing your 3 actions. Da 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 dee, da 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 da. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All right, guys, I know that you have listed your 3 actions that the government in your country may take to reduce the harm caused to the environment by the tourism industry. Now, the other thing I want you to do before I show you my answer is for each action that you have listed, you are going to explain why do you think that action will be successful. And we're going to pause the video again for you to answer your question. For each of the 3 actions that you have listed, explain why do you think those actions will help to curtail the harm caused to the environment by the tourism industry. Okay, guys, let me pause the video so you can answer your question. So it's 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Okay, I know that you guys are ready to give me your answers. So let's see what I have for my answer. You can leave your answers in the comment section. Now, action 1. So I believe that the first action that the government, excuse me, could take to reduce or curtail the harm caused by the tourism industry is they should implement sustainable tourism certification programs. Yes. What do I mean by this? So the government can establish programs where certificates can be issued to participants after completing the program. These certificates will recognize tourism facilities, and operators that adhere to sustainable tourism practices. So, in summary, what I'm saying is that the government can have training for um, the tourism industry for players or managers or workers in the tourism industry on sustainable tourism practices. Now, after completing this program, those participants will be given a certificate of completion to say that yes, they have completed their training in sustainable tourism practices, and we are seeing where they are following or they are adhering to the practices that they were introduced to. This can include criteria such as energy efficiency, waste reduction, conservation of natural resources. Explanation. Why do I believe that the government issuing certification to facilities and operators or participants that were a part of the sustainable tourism practices training? Now, this strategy will work because providing incentives such as certification programs to recognize tourism facilities and provide a financial so not only can they provide certificates, but they could also provide a government could also provide a financial incentive for tourism facilities and operators to adopt to sustainable practices. And when we talk about sustainable practices, we are looking at installing solar panels to prevent overconsumption of natural resources. We are looking at geothermal systems to generate electricity. So by providing certification programs, this can raise the industry standards and encourage all operators to adopt to sustainable practices. The second action that the government could use to prevent harm to the environment caused by the tourism industry is to introduce environmental friendly taxation policies. Introduce environmentally friendly taxation policies. Now, what do I mean by this? The government can introduce taxation policies that encourage environmentally friendly practices in the tourism industry. For example, taxes can be imposed on single-use plastics, while tax incentives can be offered for sustainable tourism operators. So if you are caught disposing your plastic improperly, um, you could be fined taxes for doing this. That's the tourism operators or facilities. You could be fined taxes. If it is seen where you are adopting to sustainable tourism practices, you have proper waste management system in place for your waste. The government could provide a tax incentive to these operators. So, explanation why I believe this will work. Taxation policies can provide a financial incentive for tourism facilities and operators to adopt sustainable practices. Taxes, taxes on single-use plastics can reduce waste and encourage the use of environmentally friendly alternatives. This can also encourage investment in sustainable tourism infrastructure and practices, such as implementing recycling programs for paper, plastic, glass, and metal. My third action that the government could do to curtail harm to the environment caused by the tourism industry is to develop and promote ecotourism initiatives. Now, what do I mean by that? The government can develop and promote ecotourism initiatives that support conservation efforts and provide economic benefits to local communities. So, explanation for this ecotourism initiatives, as we said before, can support conservation effort. Initiatives can protect natural habitats. It can provide economic benefits to local communities. Incentives can also encourage hotel facilitators or operators to protect their natural resources. It can provide educational opportunities for tourists. Provide ecotourism initiatives can raise awareness about environmental conservation and sustainable tourism practices. There are other ways that you could look at. For example, education, even though we did mention this in our first action, but they could also educate workers and operators, managers, supervisors of tourism facilities about the ways that they are harming the environment, the consequences of that, and solutions that they could use to stop or to curtail harm caused by the tourism industry. They could Another action could be legislation. So government could implement laws or pass laws that will um, fine operators or tourist facilities that causes harm to the environment. And they could put another thing that they could do, another action, put signs around hotel facilities to remind facilitators, operators about the harmful effect of tourism to the environment and what they can do to curtail or prevent causing harm to the environment. All right, guys, so I hope you had enjoyed this video. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe to this channel. Guys, if you love this channel, please remember to watch the ads. That's the only way you'll be able to support my channel. Thank you for watching and see you guys in another video.